Hello, everyone. This is a presentation on the understanding the dynamics of social networking using Facebook. It's a case study of Samsung by the Orange team. My name is Ambrose Omigie, and I'm pleased to introduce the Orange team. I'm the team lead for this assignment. The contents that I provided in this team was the introduction, the purpose of the case study, as well as the key technological needs required by Samsung, the solutions with respect to the social networking side. Abel Fadgyas provided the background. Ayorinde Adekoya provided the evaluation and the comparative analysis between Facebook and Twitter. Aniq provided the recommendations, and Angela provided the conclusion. Now, this is a presentation that is based on a case study that covers the understanding of the dynamics of social networking using Facebook or leveraging on Facebook. In this presentation, we've leveraged on Samsung being a global leader in electronics and technology. So this presentation that will be carried out by the Orange team, including myself, will provide you the insight into how Samsung will effectively meet its technological requirements and optimize its people and processes and better interact with customers through Facebook as a tool. Now, I don't want us to forget that Samsung, it's a big global company that competes in a market that requires customer acquisition. They want efficiency in the operations, and they also want customers who are loyal to their brand. So the dynamics of social networking is very critical when you consider the extensive use of Facebook for social networking and audience interaction, right? Now, it's also important to remember how it is when you think about it, how it supports the real-time communication, the way it targets the advertising side, the marketing, and also the feedback that comes from the customer. So, and ultimately, it helps to address any key organizational issues like technological needs and customer connectivity. Next slide. So here, I'm going to be talking about the issues that Samsung really need, that there's issues that Samsung has when you think about social networking. So the very first one I'm going to focus on is the lack of targeted customer engagement. So Samsung's customers and the existing customers and potential customers, they are diverse. They have different tastes. They have different preferences. Their social needs across the globe is completely different. So the traditional marketing strategies, they often fail to resonate with the specific target groups that Samsung have. Yeah. And Samsung struggles to create tailored strategies that foster meaningful and long-term relationship with these customers. There's also difficulty in building brand loyalty. Samsung faces this challenge a lot in retaining their customers because there's so much competition out there from other brands like Apple and Huawei, right? Now, let's talk about inadequate real-time customer feedback. Now, it is important to have timely feedback to improve product and services for customers. A lot of people will say, oh, we have surveys. They are too slow sometimes, and they even fail to capture customers' real-time emotions and experiences. There is challenge with global brand consistency. You know, Samsung operates in so many countries, a lot of them. And each of these countries, they have their own unique culture and preferences. So the ability to really balance a consistent global brand identity to meet the local taste and those expectations, it really can be challenging sometimes. So, and also making a communication effective in these diverse markets, it's a really complex situation. Now, when you also think about the negative publicity and misinformation, that's another big challenge that Samsung has in social media. And you know how unverified rumors can really spread, and they have negative feedback, and these things, they have a way of quickly escalating and harming company's reputation. Now, when you also talk about data analytics for decision making that is being underutilized, there are so many amount of data that Samsung collects. Now, I don't think they have fully tapped into the potential to gain meaningful insights. And this could really enhance the strategy and strengthen customer relationship, but that's not there. So there's also what we call the employee advocacy. So there's a lot of challenge that Samsung is facing in ensuring that their employee across different regions globally work together collaboratively and cohesively to present a unified image to the public and foster a sense of unity among their customers or even within the company. Now, it's an interesting issue about what we call the generational differences in audience engagement. For Samsung to overcome that, that's a major issue for them because, as some the rising competition in the digital space, Samsung is really under pressure from different brands that have effectively used social networking for marketing and communicating with customers. I'm going to stop there at the moment and I'll hand over to Abel to take us through the background. Thank you so much. Abel, please.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. Let's start by painting a picture on the background of the case. So let's start with the bigger picture. This digital era we live in. So over the past few decades, businesses and corporations have witnessed dramatic changes and the improvements driven by technological advancements and innovations such as artificial intelligence or machine learning, Internet of Things, big data, blockchain, and the list goes on, have reshaped the global landscape. For AI and machine learning, a really great example would be if you look at Amazon, for example, they are utilizing predictive analytics really well to recommend products based on customer behaviors. If we are thinking about like Internet of Things, the best or the most popular example would be to think about Tesla's connected cars. They offer real-time updates and diagnostics, and of course blockchain is probably the most important example is Bitcoin itself. Next slide, please. So these technologies don't just streamline operations, they redefine how businesses interact with customers, how they build products and services, and how they can achieve their strategic objectives. And for the primary aspects to focus on our products and service value creation, customer interactions, which is probably the most important element for a company like Samsung, and of course, global competitiveness. For any businesses today, digital transformation isn't a choice anymore. It's a necessity in order to stay competitive. And for Samsung, which is one of the world's most recognized brands, embracing proper digital transformation methods are vital to maintain its global position. Samsung itself was established in 1938 in South Korea. So the company is almost 100 years old, which allowed the corporation to witness and participate in digital transformation processes from the very beginning. Samsung managed to become the leader in electronics, semiconductors, and telecommunication systems, and by a constant adaptation, the company could remain in its conquered position and foster innovation. To be able to do so, Samsung had to commit to transformation, and especially due to the drivers of rapid innovation and competition. Let's just think about Apple, for example. So this is a really tough competitive environment, and customer expectations are constantly rising, especially regarding true personalization and real-time interactions, or at least the perception of true personalization. And of course, Samsung's operations must be optimized all the time for maximizing efficiency. As Ambrose mentioned previously, the key focus areas were determined by these drivers. Next slide, please. we are going to talk about Facebook's application in details later on in this presentation. But to set the framework, let me introduce the primary capabilities of Facebook that can offer support to Samsung's objectives. So content generation, content sharing, and community building is the core feature of the platform, and it can be utilized very effectively. And through these massive networks, targeted advertising and marketing campaigns are an amazing capability of Facebook. In order to understand the dynamics and to be able to adjust and optimize these processes, Samsung needs to analyze the ongoing performances, which is supported by additional applications of Facebook. So it provides analytics and evaluation, and the messaging system of Facebook offers a strong communication platform and strong communication. Customer engagement, and lately it has been has become very popular to utilize the integration of e-commerce as well. So now let me pass on to Ayo to share the findings of the case evaluation and comparative analysis.
Thanks, Abel. That's great background, and Ambrose as well, great introduction. So I would like to start on with this form. Social networking, as it is all the interaction happening online. It's gone beyond individuals trying to share videos, do some fun things online. Businesses now leverage on the amount of data that is being generated through social networking, and Samsung is not an exception. One of the key strengths that drives social networking platforms is the numbers of active users, the reach, the followers, and all of those. And why is Samsung unique, and why as the group choosing Samsung or Facebook, as the case may be? So it's because Facebook itself has, a strong brand with over 3 billion active users, globally. It has, a very strong capability. It gives Samsung that opportunity to really stand out as a leader in the industry. And now with the integration of Instagram and WhatsApp, it makes even Facebook stronger. Now, if you have to compare that with Twitter, which is also a good platform that Samsung use as well, but in terms of reach, they're mostly, I'm not saying they're limited to the United States, but most of the over 50% of the 300 million active users are in the United States. So, and that's why we're going to be talking more about Facebook. Now, I won't talk about the integration of Instagram and WhatsApp. One thing is crucial. Facebook has become a complete social networking platform, that has features which appeals to different generational cohorts. And that's what Ambrose referred to as generational differences. Because what the Gen Zs, the millennials, the baby boomers, their goals for going on social media and interact, it's diverse. Now, with Instagram Reels and all of those, it helps to capture the different market, and this is effective for Samsung business. Now, on the side of Twitter, Twitter is also effective, as I said, but because it is not that a tool that is being used by different generational cohorts. It's mostly used for official report. And one area that Samsung uses Twitter is announcement of new innovations. I remember when most time when galaxies are being released, it's usually been announced through Twitter, and that's one of the effective use of Twitter over Facebook. And I'm just going to talk really quick about how effective Samsung has been able to interact with a very mass amount of followers on Facebook. Besides Facebook itself, Samsung is the second, I would say the first anyway, among different brand with the highest number of followers. That's with over 160 million followers across the globe. Samsung as well, Samsung Twitter's account is a little bit different, and this is this is how it differs. Samsung Twitter account is based on countries, and they use it to target a particular geographical reach. So it's not as strong, it's not as as effective in terms of using it for social networking as the way they've been able to achieve great success using Facebook. The other piece I want to quickly talk about is that Samsung leverage the power of social listening and Facebook ad targeting. I'm going to give you an example of how this works. Social listening is all about what is happening everywhere, what people are saying, where they are saying it. Samsung is listening using the different social listening tools, and if they know where this is happening, they kind of target this audience, using Facebook ad targeting, and they can use that to drive traffic into the Facebook marketplace, for example. But unlike Twitter has a Twitter shop. It allows Samsung to showcase some of their product, but it is not at the same scale that Facebook marketplace has across the globe. One success story I'd like to emphasize on is is what they have accomplished in the Middle East. This technological company saw an 18% increase in hard-to-cart event on its e-commerce platform after using dynamic Facebook and Instagram videos ad creative that created real-time game schedules, especially when there's like a soccer event happening in the Middle East. This Samsung, Facebook was the platform that delivers the kind of result that they wanted in the Middle East. Having said that, I would like to say that Samsung is indeed building a social networking ecosystem on Facebook, where employees, where customers and business partners, they engage and they leverage on this data to improve on their brand globally. And thanks for listening to me. At this point, I will now pass it on back to Ambrose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayo, and thank you, Abel, as well. I'm just going to go diving straight into the proposed solution. So, and I like the way you ended it, Ayo, because Samsung is building an ecosystem both for customers and also for their staffs as well. So let's start with the targeted customer engagement, right? We all know that ineffective targeting results in low return of investment, and there will be mixed opportunities. So, like rightly said earlier, so this Facebook Ads Manager that enables Samsung to tailor ads for specific audiences. And so for a lot of enthusiasts, maybe in photography, for example. So, and you also have to think about the demographics and interest, right? So these ads, they highlight Samsung's Galaxy smartphone camera, for example, for photograph enthusiasts. Also, so there is a target content delivery, which increases the ads relevance, the customer's connection, and of course, it fosters a stronger customer bond. For building brand loyalty, what Samsung needs to do is just to focus in retaining customers, because that's cheaper. It's actually cheaper to retain existing customers than acquiring new ones. So lack of loyalty increases a lot of cost for the organization. So there's Facebook group live, Facebook Live, Facebook stories. These things, they create interactivity within the community, and it enhances trust and long-term customer relationship. Now, to address the real-time customer feedback, it's appalling when you know that an organization is ignoring feedback from their customers. So, and when you ignore real-time feedback, it leads to continued poor product quality. So the polls and comments on Facebook will offer instant insight into customer attitudes. And there are Facebook insights that can help Samsung to analyze the feedback and make data-driven timely adjustments. Now, for global brand consistency, there are mixed messages all over the globe, eroding brand equity. So what Samsung needs to do is to have a localized but centralized campaign. This is going to address all the varying regional needs that they require. So for example, Facebook Business Manager helps them to manage all the region-specific campaigns while maintaining global brand integrity. So let me talk about the publicity and information sharing. When there is so much rumor Clearly, negative publicity affects every organization. It harms sales and it harms reputation. So, like Ayo says, social listening and content moderation on Facebook helps to tackle this fake news and protect brand image. And of course, proactive monitoring will definitely allow Samsung to manage their potential public relation crisis effectively. Now, data analytics and decision making is a major issue that leads to poor investment in campaign. And like we said before, Facebook Insight provides data on audience interaction, the campaign performance, and market trends. You cannot go wrong with all this kind of predictive analysis because they will ensure Samsung to remain competitive in the market by identifying trends like foldable phone demand, Z Fold, and all the rest. So when you talk about employee advocacy, what Samsung needs to do is to have Facebook Workplace that fosters real-time collaboration across the teams. And employee advocacy through personal profiles, it really amplifies brand reach and also the campaign effectiveness and make sure that Samsung is reaching where they need to reach eventually. So I'm going to talk about the generation differences. Facebook needs to enable a multi-format content like video and memes for younger audiences and infographics for older demographics. So that cross platform integration with Instagram also helps. It will ensure engagement across generation lines. And lastly, when you look at the opportunity for competitive advantage, Samsung really lags behind in creative competitors like Apple. And that's the problem. So Samsung needs to leverage on Facebook's AR. It is called augmented reality ads. These kind of augmented reality, they enable advertisers to even create their own ads that are engaging, that are interactive and are efficient. So Samsung needs to do this because that way it will help them to work with influencers who can boost the engagement and brand differentiation. So all these innovation tools will really help showcase Samsung products and create a memorable digital presence for them. So I'm just going to hand over to Aniq at the moment to take us through the recommendation. Thank you.
Thanks, Ambrose, and great work, Ayo and Abel. As they all summarized, like there were various challenges that were being faced, and there were various proposed case analysis that we tried to paint down over there. I would begin my recommendations based on a famous quote from Kung Fu Panda movie, which is basically, yesterday is a history, future is a mystery, and today is a gift. That is why it is called present. And the reason to quote that is basically nothing can happen if people don't change, and the change cannot happen in future if that change does not happen today. Therefore, we are recommending basically some key aspects on changes which Samsung should probably consider when they are painting their strategy going forward. The first one is to go through their Facebook pages and make it more localized, meaning they should try to form a regional Facebook page where they could have a customized filter available, and the content is based on the local knowledge and the understanding of the company. So at one point, we also discussed that there were various surveys that were being conducted in future, in the past, but in future, these surveys need to be tailored based on the audiences that are available in each of the locations. So for example, if an advertisement is in US, would not be a similar advertisement being done in Middle East, and if it's been done in Pakistan or India, it would completely be transformed. So these regional Facebook pages would provide an opportunity for the local people to give their voices out to Samsung so that these communications and these touch points can be more human and these can be more frequent as needed. Then we move on towards marketplace opportunities, which is like key in this kind of era where I was mentioning that it's a complete ecosystem within Facebook. So it's important for marketplace opportunities to be capitalized given the recent trends that are there, and it can provide Samsung with opportunities to understand how many clicks were there per product, what are the key trends which are being spent by the customers, like where the customers spend more of their time, and what are the key aspects where they earn the profitable venues and the revenues that are being earned. So it's kind of a holistic picture which Samsung would have eventually, but again that will be more localized with the introduction of regional Facebook pages instead of having a one centralized common hub. Moving on to Facebook stories, I think that's an amazing way to put together things in a very short span. So based on a recent study, right now the human span of understanding or retention of gaining understanding on one of the thing is like if you are reading or if you're looking at something, your attention span is basically 8 seconds, which has reduced significantly from 15 seconds. So given that's gone to 8 seconds, it's also important to understand that these stories can give a significant milestone for the company to have like how the understanding like of the company is being done, what are the key products, to market some of these things, to market some of the key initiatives around green technology, like the climate change and the things that are being done behind the scenes, like how the production is being happening. So some of these things can be basically being portrayed through Facebook stories as well. Then moving on towards the analytics, and I think I briefly touched about these things along with Abel. So analytics is key, like data is key for anything. If there is a new product that needs to be launched, data is primary to that. And therefore, some of these analytics which are coming from Facebook marketplace opportunities through regional Facebook pages, these stories, these analytics can feed into the key goals or the KPIs that the company is trying to put together so that it can give a meaningful results for the strategic investors or the strategic decision makers to do future investments in the company. Alongside, the introduction of AI has also created a demand for these chatbots to be more virtually have a feeling where they can adapt the human learning and they can understand how these things can happen in a real-time basis instead of having a human being available over there, so that the cost can be saved from that perspective. Overall, our recommendations are primarily based on the changes that are being driven through technological needs and through the transformational needs of the overall economical and the wider global changes, and hence these recommendations are pivotal to do for Samsung so that they can carry out their operations in future. With that, I'll pass on to Angela to show us the final conclusion of the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Aniq. Thanks, everyone. So I'll take it from there. I'll just run us through the recap of the whole work that was done by the team. So we examined Samsung digital journey and digital transformation, their needs and their strategies. And we were able to identify what the issues are. We were able to profile solution, like Ambrose took us through the issues. He mentioned the lack of targeting customer engagement, the lack of brand loyalty, how they navigate publicity and information sharing. He mentioned a lot of issues and also talked about the solution, what the solutions would be. We have looked at and we have analyzed, done comparative analysis, just like Ayo took us through the comparative analysis where the Facebook features and the Twitter features, and we've come to the conclusion that Facebook would be a better tool, a better platform for Samsung to continue to play in. We looked at the features like having targeted advertising, their real-time analytics, customer interaction. You say yes, Twitter, they are using Twitter currently, but because Facebook has about 3 billion active users, would say that would be the best place for Samsung to play in compared to Twitter that just have 300 million users. And we also looked at it and we say that Facebook has a better global reach. Although, yeah, we were able to we look at it and we saw that Samsung has about 160 followers in Facebook, but they are not leveraging this positive trend, and they are not using it very well, that at this point they would need to expand their business in the short term and in the long term. And so the conclusion is the Samsung will need to leverage the features of Facebook to be able to grow their business, to increase their ROI, and to build their brand loyalty. So then the question would be, what would be the next step? The next step would be to go back to what Aniq just took us through, the recommendations, the different features that we expect that Samsung will use to increase their reach, to be able to cut through the different generational differences. That's like the Gen Zs, the millennials, the baby bloomers, And we have recommended the Facebook pages. We have recommended the Facebook stories where they can easily share their stories and reach people. We've also talked about real-time customer feedback and where they will be able to attend to customers' needs, especially when the emotions are up, gives them the understanding that yes, what the customer is feeling, and take the feedback and act on it. That would help them to bring the brand loyalty. So at this point, I think the conclusion is Samsung needs to leverage more on their digital transformation, leverage more on Facebook for their digital transformation journey. Thank you, everyone. At this time, we will take any question that comes. Thank you for listening.